Good morning. It's Tuesday, September 10th, here at an open door. Thank you for joining us. You're always welcome here. What is here? We are a community of beings who know that being together, discussing and practicing the tools that bring us to truth is a powerful, transformational, loving, and fun thing to do. We are a group of everyday kind of people who know that there is something other than what we think, and whatever it is, something wonderful happens when we hang out together. That's what an open door is. And those are Cindy's words. And I want to thank her for that. So this morning, this is our first in a weekly series of gatherings around the book Training Wheels. And I have it somewhere, but most of you have seen it. You know what it is. Thank you, Libby. Thank you. And it's available on Amazon. And if you can't get a copy, I can try and get a copy for you. I've just mailed a copy to Barbara and also to David, who's not with us right now, but they'll have one. But Training Wheels is just the way that we're exploring the daily lessons of A Course in Miracles. And it's based on what I, to use Cindy's phrasing, sort of downloaded from the lessons. I loved the lessons, and the lessons changed my life. I practiced them for 2 years really closely, like every 15 minutes, stopping when the instructions said stop every 15 minutes and repeat the lesson, or meditate for 15 minutes on this, or do this forgiveness exercise. I did all of it, and I did it with intention and sincerity, earnestness, to use Nisargadatta's words. And it changed my life. And so I was moved to write this book, but I wanted to write it in a way that made sense to me, because I didn't really go for the language of A Course in Miracles. So we're going to use Training Wheels as a jump-off place for the lessons, but the greater purpose here is to share our experience of the lessons themselves, whether you take them from A Course in Miracles or from Training Wheels. It doesn't matter. Most of you know A Course in Miracles is really holographic in that, and perhaps I'm mixing my metaphors here, but it's multidimensional. So we can do the lessons 20 times over a 20-year period. And each time we do a lesson, we're going to experience something else, because the context in which we experience the lesson changes all the time. So there's almost always something new to learn in the lesson. And so they're powerful in a new way every time we do them, because the lesson sort of reaches across time and space to be with us in the now moment. So we were saying before we started that this class is scheduled for 30 minutes, but I'm happy to go for an hour if we need to go for an hour. Not if we need to, if we want to go for an hour, then that's fine too. Cindy can just change it on the website. So what I'd like to do here is to ask you to turn your video off if you feel like it, so that you can just listen to my voice and just relax and sit comfortably. And breathe naturally. And you can keep your eyes open for this lesson, because That's what this lesson asks us to do. So just take the words in. And see what happens. So this is part 1 of A Course in Miracles workbook in the daily lessons. And the first lesson is, nothing I see in this room, on this street, means anything. Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, means anything. Nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, means anything. This is a very simple lesson, and yet, like most lessons, it has the potential for great depth. All you're asked to do in this first lesson is to take a seat and look with a light focus upon things within your view. Gently, without judgment, look around at specific things, and there's no limit or order to those things. And in a quiet, unhurried manner, say about each thing, nothing I see means anything. What does it mean to consider that nothing I see means anything? How disorienting. Does the table have no meaning? Does the car have no meaning? Does the person in front of me have no meaning? If nothing I see has any meaning, what does that say about my world? There's a reason nothing you see means anything. The reason will be made clear in upcoming lessons. For now, just trust in the words and give yourself the experience of simply saying them. You don't have to believe them, but you do have to be open to their possibility. When I first explored this lesson, it left me feeling a little off, a little out of it. I look at the world around and say it means nothing. I feel a jolt inside. There's so much in this world to which I am attached. How could it not have any meaning? And yet, if I think about it, saying these words makes me feel a bit freer as well. After all, there's so much in this world that I associate with pain, fear, and judgment. To say that these things have no meaning releases me from past associations with them. Maybe, just maybe, the antique desk my sister and I fought over isn't quite what I thought it was. Quantum physics seems to be telling us that there is an invisible field that gives substance to everything in our universe. It even suggests that we draw from this invisible field to create what appears to be physical matter. The God particle, or Higgs boson, was thought to be the smallest particle, but now we're looking for something even smaller. What exactly is this world I see made of? This first lesson asks us to consider something we may never have considered before. What I think I see is just a perception made with the body's eyes, and yet beyond the body is a whole world of unseen things that move and vibrate and even pass right through me. Perhaps nothing I see is actually as I see it. If it is not as I see it, then how can I know what it truly means? How does this lesson make you feel? This is the thing about lesson 1. It asks us to let go of the idea that I know what anything is. You see, what passes as our consensual reality is a dead thing, as we learned from Mr. Harwood in Cindy's video. It's a dead thing. It doesn't move or allow movement. And when I think I know everything, I'll miss the love, because love in its purest form is movement. It's freedom. It comes unexpectedly, singing a new song, and often this new song is one we've been longing for and forgotten we once knew. So this lesson is an invitation to end the thought, I know everything, and open to an unknown, this place where love is and breathes free, because love and freedom are the same. Nisargadatta Maharaj said, I look inside and see that I am nothing. I look outside and see that I am everything. I look inside and see that I am nothing. I look outside and see that I am everything. Nothing I see in this place, in this room, means anything. So when you're ready, turn your video back on and let's talk about this lesson. You can raise your hand, you can just jump in, whatever you would like to do. Most of you, let me ask a question. How many of you have done all the lessons? Okay. Most of you have done all the lessons. So for those of you who haven't done all the lessons, would you be willing to share what your experience was with this? Livy, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. I'm really, really grateful and so happy to be with all of y'all this morning. This lesson just really opens up a big space and provides me an opportunity to let go of judgments and to be open and willing to see differently in the world. And I remember there was a particular person's voice that it wouldn't have mattered if I had meditated all morning. If I heard this particular voice, I would just get really angry and anxious because it was all coming from a place of fear. And then I had definite views on things. And I remember one day it occurred to me, it's not for me to judge anything as good or bad because I don't know what anything is for. And I can let go of my adjustments to that. And the job that I have currently is a retail job in a music store with some friends that I know. And at the same time, I've noticed lately, because that job really was getting me into the thinking mind, and a practice for me now when I'm at work is really focusing on being in the moment and recognizing that when I'm in the moment, there's not judgments. There's just being willing to be open to whatever's there because I don't know what anything is for. And so I love how user-friendly this book is and what I've read of it. And I just really appreciate this group being held to go in a little deeper. But this first step just really frees me to be in the world and just to understand that what I'm seeing is not what I think I'm seeing. And I just am really excited to be in this group with people who that I can learn so much from. And I'm really grateful that you're doing this, Amy, here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Livy. Shall we let Cindy talk? I don't know. She talks all the time. Do you think she really has anything meaningful to say? Come on down, Cindy.
Um, this video that we're going to talk about on Thursday, it's so meaningful, right? And the one thing I noticed in what you just did, Amy, which is different than my memory of lesson number one, is that we didn't name the things. I don't know if you did it purposely or not, but in beginners in A Course in Miracles will say, like, the table doesn't mean anything and that window doesn't mean anything. But when you just walked us through somehow the way I was guided while being with your voice was to just um, know that I didn't know anything, and my new best friend Bob indicated that was a big part of his walking around practice that he now tells people is more valuable than the Zen cones and sitting on the couch and everything else, right? Just being in the world. And what was the example he gave? A red truck is in front of him on the thruway and just being with the experience without naming it a red truck and recognizing that he didn't know what it was, and somehow walking through this with this group in this place was very much like that. I don't know that that's a red truck. I just know that there's a flow of experience, and tapping like really into that space, following your voice felt like that, just this sense of not needing to know the red truck, just recognizing like even deeper than I don't know what anything is or what anything is for, to the not needing to know. So really grateful, like the head's spinning a lot at the moment. So I guess that's all Cindy's got to say.
Thank you. Rana, what you got going on?
Hello, everyone. It's really good to be here with you all. So your voice is mesmerizing. It's
Hmm.
very helpful for this one. The frequency and vibration really put me somewhere.
Hmm.
So you mentioned I can never remember the Higgs-Bogs particle. What's it called?
The Higgs boson.
Higgs boson, right? And as you were saying, you know, scientists now think there's something smaller than that. And what came to me was the video with Greg Good, where he slices you down, trying to find the place where I exist, you know, locate it. And, you know, you slice and slice and slice and you just never even find it. And so it occurs to me that's what's happening with science. They just keep trying to find something smaller and smaller and smaller. And because they're looking for it, they're finding something, but it's not quite the end, you know? There's something real juicy there. So thank you for that, bringing that up, because you know I love science, so. But looking at science today with the heart rather than the head is a totally different experience here. So it's really fun. You mentioned love is movement, which I believe you referenced from Thursday, which I haven't watched the whole thing yet. So, but, and that really struck me. Love is movement. It's freedom. It's expression. And these teachings allow me to tap into the observation and experience of that happening rather than the table and the computer and the red truck and the blah, blah, blah. You know, and I recall early on in this part of the journey here, sitting in my car, looking at a shrub outside of my house and really just being open, like dropping that label. And what clearly came to me was house for birds. Right? So my perception is that it's a shrub, but it's not just a shrub, it's a home. It's a place of refuge for birds. I mean, it's providing the soil with this and that and the other, and there's so many things connected and going on beyond the limited meaning the mind places on anything. This is a really great reminder of what I've been referring to as a snapshot. Like, you know, right now, there's my friends and the surrounding whatever, but this is what's real right now. And if I drop the labels of what I think it means, it becomes bigger than what this limited self thinks it means. You know, love is expressed bigger here. And I'll end with this is I'm taking a course on Nisargadatta Maharaj right now. It's day 2. And so thank you for that quote. You know, inside I am nothing, outside I am everything, is the way that I remembered it to write it down. Who knows? And when you repeated that the second time, I felt something with the I am everything. Something changed, not a permanent change. It was a moment of recognition. Like, you know, when you have a word on the tip of your tongue and you just can't quite find it. That's what it felt like right there. I felt like it pushed me to the edge of something. And that was really exquisite. And now my thighs are on fire and tingling. So it's extraordinary, the experiences this one gets to have with you seeming others that I love so much. It's almost like that love needed to happen before I could begin to experience this particular aha. So thank you for tapping into that love. You know, it's so good to be here with you on a damn Tuesday. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, you just did something that for me happens very rarely, but I always love it when it does. When you said that the experience was like having a word on the tip of your tongue, that touches me in a really profound way. These experiences can sometimes be right there. It's like we're just touching it. And we know there's something beyond it, but we can't quite let go enough to get through it. And that was a great description, Rana. Great description. So humanity has spent billions of dollars trying to find the Higgs boson. I think that's why CERN was built. And now we're looking for something even smaller. You know, it's all trying to find one theory of everything. And if we can just find this one particle, we'll find one theory of everything. And it's all there. It's right there. But these folks that just want to develop these techniques, and they're brilliant, brilliant people who are trying to find this, you know, how to measure the smallest particle, like the attosecond, 1/1,000,000th of 1/1,000,000,000th of a second. The minds that can think of the experiments that can do that are amazing. I remember when I first learned that neutrinos, does anybody know what a neutrino is? A neutrino is literally stardust. It is the almost massless particles that emanated out from the original Big Bang. They have so little mass. They travel at the speed of light, if not, the speed of light, and they are inundating us, even as we speak, even as we sit here. They are so massless, they pass through everything. And on 1 square inch of your arm, you have every second millions of neutrinos passing through 1 square inch of your arm. And I remember learning about that and going, holy moly, I am not seeing anything. I don't see these. What am I? Nothing is solid. It's, you know, it's like the headset that we have on that just limits everything that we think we see. So I love science too, and I
This is where we got to remember not to make fun of her until
Right.
she comes back. This is the frozen Amy. Be back.
See,
Not
that's where nothing is solid. What she
Yeah.
was just talking about, nothing is solid. There's millions of little massless things moving through us.
There
she
she sees.
is.
You gave us an example of how you aren't real.
And
no,
you didn't look stupid or anything. You looked just fine. You didn't have a weird expression on your face.
okay. It's just neutrinos. And Dago, Thanks for being here. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. And so it was so actually Indigo is so hot. Like she's so effing pissed off right now. She is just so she wants to kill everybody right now. Because I've been trying to do the 40-day program for now 5 years, or I don't know how long. And do the workbook lessons and then and I would try it and it would not work. I would try it and not work, and I would try it. And I'd just be like, okay. And it was just my heart to do it. And I kept trying and it just didn't nothing. And I'm like, what is going on? How come it's not working? And then finally I was like, oh, okay. I'm not doing it. Oh, and I had so many different shifts, but anyway, so Diego is just she's so pissed off right now. um, um, but this is so amazing, all of it. So I'm just so grateful for everything, and I'm grateful that Indigo doesn't get it, because I'm seeing now that everything is perfect exactly as it is. And everything is love, and everything is here for me. And so, yeah, and I'm just loving all of it, loving all of it. I don't get it. I'm loving it because it's for me. It's perfect for me. It's perfect for Indigo to get upset. It's perfect. It's all love. So thank you so much. Love being here. Thank you.
Yeah. Enjoy being pissed off. Yeah, have fun with it. You know, no judgment there. No blame, no judgment. Let it go, you know, let it flow. Yep. Cindy and I were talking about that earlier on about that's just what's happening sometimes right now. Thank you, Indigo. Barbara. I don't know if Barbara or Richard was first, but I think it was Barbara.
I had an experience this morning I'd like to tell you about. But before that, this is the third time I'm going through the lessons, but this year I'm going more in depth. I mean, I'm taking it all in what's ever going on. But when I was walking with my husband, we took a walk to the store today. And I've lived here for 2.5 years now in this apartment. And like you said, the trees call me. I don't know why, but the trees call me. And this tree that we walk past all the time has been slowly dying since we moved here. But lately, and especially today, you know, a table's not a table. That's just articles you see or whatever. And so I never thought of a tree before as I do now, but I'm looking at the tree and you know that the tree is dying slowly because it's bark's falling off and there's a gap between, it's breaking apart. You could see a white light, you know, when you look through the tree. And it's like what you were saying, nothing I see means anything. And so I'm seeing what it means. It's pure light. And after what you read, it's like, oh, I get it now, you know, because some of these lessons are so hard to understand unless somebody explains to you which, you know, what to do or whatever. But I appreciate what you taught me today, that everything is light. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for that share. Richard.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here. labor doing the lessons. I've been doing the lessons for a number of years, and never have I had the discipline to do it as they instruct in the lessons. So, but I've been doing for at least 15 years. I started on January 1, lesson 1, and 31st of December is lesson 365. So part of my daily routine, but I love the lessons. And first lesson, of course, is like you said, when you first do it, it's like, whoa, because everything has meaning before you do the first lesson. And so when you realize that nothing you see has any meaning, then you have to, at least maybe, I had to say, well, if that's true, then I never get upset about anything because it has no meaning. So, and but anyway, you were talking about the Higgs boson, and I know many of you have heard that the tiny mad idea was the Big Bang, and and that resonates with. It wasn't God who made the world. It was the mind that believed it separated from a source that made the world in order to hide from God so we wouldn't be punished for separating from our source. So that also helped me to realize that nothing has meaning because I made it. And Richard didn't make it. I am made it, who is the single child of God who believed is separated from the source, and then in turn made everything else real by projecting it out of the one mind into the universe, making all this multiplicity of diversity and separation. So I love, I look forward to this experience. So I have to redo my schedule, but I look forward to it. I love you all.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Thank you for telling us you love us. I know that if you hadn't, Cindy would have made you at the end. So
There was one other thing I wanted to mention, if I might. What you were talking about, the Higgs boson, it reminded me of something I learned long before I heard the Higgs boson. It was if you stand across the room and look at the other wall, and you start walking to the wall, but you take half a step every time you step. So if you take a full step, then the next step is half of that step, and then half of that step, and half of that step. The idea is you will never reach the other wall. So the same thing is true of trying to find the smallest particle, because if you keep searching for the smallest particle, you never hit reality. You never find out what the theory of everything is until you stop looking for that particle.
wow. Thank you for that one. That was a cool one you just dropped in on us. Whew, I like that. I like that a lot.
I just got a comment. His teaching these days is so clear and amazing. Richard, I'm crying. Thank you. Aha after aha every time you share.
I can be of service.
Oh, you are. Michelle, come on down.
Yeah, Richard, seriously, that was really awesome. So hey, Amy and all, I'm really enjoying everybody's shares. This is so fun and super cool and exciting. And okay, so I'm just wondering, has anyone seen the movie What the Bleep Do We Know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a fun one too. So, and I am on board with Rana on your voice, Amy. Your voice, I'm telling you, I think you should do the audible version of your book with your own voice. So,
Thank you.
yeah. So I just wanted to, I know, I love that A Course in Miracles is, I heard someone say that it's a 180 degree from what we perceive in the world. And okay, so your quote, please remind me, because I just want to say something sort of goofy about when you said, okay, after we did the exercise, the first lesson, and then you quoted, the quote was, when I look inside, I see nothing, and when I look outside, I see everything. Is that it pretty much?
I'll put it up. It's, I look inside and see that I am nothing.
That I am nothing.
I
Okay.
am nothing. I look outside and see that I am everything. I'll put
Okay.
that in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So when you first shared that, I was like, especially after lesson one, I was driving. So, and there's some comedy with that, which maybe I'll get into, and or maybe I'll just zip my lip. But I I heard that, and it I thought, wouldn't it be the reverse? You know what I mean? When
Yep.
do you know what I mean? Like when I look inside, I am everything. And when I look outside, I am not, it just struck me, wait a minute, when it feels like it would be the reverse.
That's a really good point. And when Michelle, and when we watch Cindy's video for, is it Thursday, Cindy? The Harwood video. We could talk about that
Yeah. Yeah.
Thursday, because that's really good.
Well, thank you for listening to my musings. And this is really fun. Thank you. Thank you again. Love us.
I love us too. Thank you. So I look inside and see that I am nothing. I look inside and there's no Amy there. There's no thought. There's just ising. There's just being. You know? And then I look outside and I see that everything I see is in my mind. It's all in my consciousness. There's nothing outside of me. It's all inside of me. And yet inside, I'm nothing. I'm just ising. It's a really interesting paradox. And I think it part of the assignment for next week, I think, is to take moments throughout the day and just look at the world around you and see that it is all inside you and that you are that. All right, Cindy, what you got for us?
Well, first, I'm in awe of what's happening here. One of my favorite questions relative to that quote and what Michelle was saying is, when I find myself stuck in that space, I often ask myself if I can find where the inside becomes the outside, which is a cool thing from Bob Harwood too. But that's just like all right, what am I calling inside and what am I calling outside, and where does the inside become the outside? You go looking for the edge, that where's that space? And I haven't been able to find it yet. And
Cindy,
since what?
was it Harwood that said when I take a drink of water and I put the water in my mouth?
Yeah, where does the water? At what point does the water become me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all these are the questions that blow up the mind, right? And I have a Nisargadatta quote that I've been working. I am helping to facilitate the class. Rana was pointing to it, Awakening Together. So I've been sinking deep into these quotes. And there's a quote that just blew up again in my space while Richard was talking. And I'm so glad that his hand is up after mine. But here's Nisargadatta states that causality, even as a concept, does not apply to chaos. And my understanding of A Course in Miracles states that any world that's created by a mind that says it's separated from God, you might as well just call it chaos. And so this idea of taking these half steps towards the wall or looking for the smallest particle, it right here now, it feels like insanity. This idea that we're ever going to find the cause, where the idea that we're spending billions of dollars to discover where we exist separate from God feels a little chaotic and insane, right? But that's what was coming up for me during Richard's share. And by the way, I agree with what everybody else said. Every time Richard speaks, I listen. I'm gonna mute.
Oh, thank you, Cindy. Richard, what you got for us?
I have a question. I keep referring to this video we're gonna talk about on Thursday. Where is the video?
Good question. This gives,
Let me do a screen share. Can I do a screen share?
yeah,
So I could show you how this works. Because the goal is that it's going to be easier than anything we've done together before. So if you go to the home page
of an open door.
of an open door, and then you go to links and replays. Yeah.
All right, right.
All the YouTube videos that we're going to do coming up for the next 5 weeks, the links to all the YouTube videos are right there. And then if you go a little further down, there's setting up YouTube playlists for all the replays. So the hour that Ron and I did where the rubber meets the road, if you click on that link right there, I know Michelle's already figured it out. You'll find the YouTube the replay. And after Thursday, this what we're doing on Thursday will move down to another thing right here. And the YouTube video replays will be there, and I'm going to put the link to the video we watched on YouTube with the replays.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
I
And if
love
that's
that you're doing
yeah.
you're in Rana's podcast, Cindy. I'm glad to see those up there because those were great.
Yeah, and if anything is at all like the whole concept behind and open doors that we're doing it together, and it's supposed to be as easy like as we can make it. So if it feels at all complicated, let me know.
Yeah, this is so much fun. It is so much fun. It's great and it's easy, and I love the way there's no one on center screen. We're all in this room together. We're all talking together, and actually everybody could just unmute as far as I'm concerned.
So I do have a question with you, Amy, for you, Amy, because it's been 50 minutes, so we're getting close to the end of the hour. You and I talked about a couple of different ways you were going to do this class. And the last time we talked, you had this idea that you might be able to do 7 lessons in 30 minutes. And here we haven't gotten past lesson number 1, and it's been 50 minutes. And my sense is that that's the way this group is going to go. So I wonder what you feel about what we're going to do moving forward.
Well, I
Are
was
you
going
going
to
to just
say,
do lesson 2 next week, or?
what do you folks want to do? Do you want to just do lesson 2 next week? I'm okay with that. Okay, let's just do lesson 2 next week then, because I was going to say, you could just read the next 7 lessons and then sort of summarize them and, okay, no, okay. I'm with you. I'm on that page. All right, we'll just do that, we'll just do,
Yes.
Every lesson is like an essay unto itself. Like it's
Okay.
a topic unto itself. So it's beautiful.
okay. All right, so what I wanted to leave everybody with, I'm just going to read you what I wrote. Because it's kind of the directive for how to do this thing. So practice this lesson all week whenever you can, right? And then we'll do the lesson next week. But explore for yourself, right? Just explore what it means. And how has the lesson, when we come back next week, I'm going to ask you, how has this lesson impacted your week? What's it done? How's it arisen in your week? And how's it moved your week? What has the movement been in your week with this lesson in mind? And you can't do it wrong, so don't even worry about it. And the other thing is, when you tell us what you've experienced with this lesson, there are no holds barred, right? No holds barred. Tell us all the juicy details, right? Because the life is in the juice. And that's what these lessons are meant to do. Give us the juiciness, and let's wring the juice out of every single one of these lessons, and then we'll just drink its wisdom together. All right, so that's what I would like to do with these lessons. All right.
All right, so we're
Okay.
we're coming back here in an hour and a half for 12 stepping.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you,
I love
Michelle.
us.
I love us too. Michelle says she's a more patient driver. Ha ha ha. All right.
Stop
Thank-
the recording.
Okay. Thank you all.